Hey guys, let's talk today about the PSE carbon riser bows, specifically the bushings that they have for accessory mounting. There's one up here and one here. Now, they're designed to be used with two-piece quivers. We are, however, designing a back bar mount that will mount directly off of this hexagonal face here. So we have a pilot piece that'll be going in, designed to fit to that. It has 1/4 20 thread on one side. It has 5/16 24 thread on the other side. That allows our back bar modules to mount up to it. So what I want to talk about is the bushing itself though, so that you can get an idea of what to do to take that little bit of play out of it that exists. I'll talk about why it exists. So if you have one of these bows and you've put a quiver on, you've probably been able to take that quiver mount and move the bushing a little. It rotates a small amount. Not enough that it would impair you being able to use a product mounted on it, but it's not ideal to have any movement at all. So let's break the bushing down and I'll show you what it is you can do. So we have a 3/8 inch drive socket wrench here, 10mm hex bit, fits right into that bushing perfectly. So that's what it's designed to be taken apart with. This of course is male and female threaded. This is the male thread side. So you really just loosen it up and you can then take it apart from there. So pull the male thread part out. I'll push the female threaded side out. So the female threaded side is your triangular side, and this is the round portion that does have hexagonal shaped head in there. And that's what we'll be mounting directly to with our back bar mount. Get you a really secure hold inside of that. It's nice. So let's talk about the bushing though. So what's the problem? We know we're getting movement and it's not movement from here because once this is tightened down to a sufficient amount, there shouldn't be any rotation occurring with this. It's threaded into this part. You could even add Loctite to those threads if you wanted to ensure that you're not getting any rotation from here. The rotation is occurring on the triangular side, and that is because it's not designed to be large enough, really. I think the reason probably is manufacturing tolerance variances you might see in the carbon, and then wanting to ensure that this piece will fit from bow to bow. So having it be slightly undersized, I'm pretty sure is intentional. But again, that's not ideal. That's where you get that little bit of sloppiness and play, and it's all occurring on this side. So in looking at that, it became pretty apparent really quick that the issue was these three corners need to be reinforced to some degree so that you can't move, that there's just no ability to have any play. And that's what I did on my bow. So I already tested on the upper bushing. It worked awesome. And it's what you'll need to do on this one too. And I haven't done it yet, I will. So what you have to do, what I did anyway, is used an epoxy putty. Yep. We need to create shoulders that are really rigid and resistant to movement and will hold up over time once this thing's tightened into there. The way to create those shoulders is use something like this, epoxy putty. Use a very small amount into each of the corners where these three shoulder corners fit into on the other side. So I'll turn the bow around. Again, you probably can't even see this on the video because it's black and it's not the greatest lighting. But those three corners, or you have to apply a small amount of epoxy putty. Here's something that's really critical though, if you're going to do this. Clean the inside with rubbing alcohol so the epoxy putty bonds nicely in there. This part, you don't want this part to bond into the riser. Well, you could do that and that would still function. But I want to be able to remove these parts still and have the reinforced shoulder. So what are you going to do with this? You can't have this stick in there. You need to apply a release agent of some type. You could put grease all over this. You could put some kind of oil on it. There's spray-on release agents. Whatever you use, you want it to be something that will not bond to the epoxy putty. So when I say small amount, I mean it. You really don't want to put a lot. If you put too much in there, when you press this bushing in place, you're going to squeeze all that extra epoxy putty out the other side. And then you'll have to reach inside and then maybe use like a small screwdriver, some kind of small tool to pull any excess out. That's what I did today on this upper one. Worked perfectly. So push that in, turned it around, scraped out any excess that was there, let this stuff set up, and then I punched the triangular portion of the bushing right back out because it had release agent on it. Didn't stick, not much anyway, and pop that out, and then we're good to go. So we have inside of here now, inside of that one, a really nicely shaped, perfectly shaped to match the exact size of that triangular bushing. And that is, again, the issue. It's too small, and we just get that movement. So now when I mount a bar up to this, or I have put my back bar mount on that one just to check, no movement, nothing. So that's how you fix it. Another way to fix it would be to, like I said, to permanently bond that in place. If you were to want to do that, you wouldn't necessarily have to use putty. You could then just use a standard epoxy, and a little bit more chance of mess though in that case because of it being able to run. So in that case, you would want to clean this thoroughly with acetone. Get this really clean, no oils, nothing on it. Make sure the inside's clean with rubbing alcohol. Don't use the acetone on the riser. Just use rubbing alcohol there. And then you could apply epoxy on the inside of that triangular hole, push this in, and then set the bow wherever you wanted to, of course, until it was fully cured. That would be a permanent solution. This part wouldn't come back out. So, but that would prevent these shoulders from having that slight bit of rotation. So there's a second solution. My opinion though, the best one is epoxy putty and allowing this thing to be removable. That way, if you ever needed to replace it for some reason, if the threads were damaged, you could still replace the bushing. Wouldn't be stuck in your bow. All right, guys, that's what you'll need to do if you want the most solid connection with these bushings, short of having a new bushing being made specifically for this. If you want to go for that, if you're able to do that, by all means. But in my case, I wanted to use the factory bushing, and our new product is dependent on this factory bushing. So there it is. Thanks a lot, guys, for checking in. Take care. Taparchery.com is where we have all the info about our products.